Ladies and savages, we are back.
We're back.
Finally back. After a week, we are back. And you could listen to us in your beautiful ears. Hector, how are you doing
up in
today?
your ears, you guys. We're going to do some ASMR today. We got you guys. Nah, just kidding. I would love to do some ASMR, but I'm good. I am a little tired, as you may have noticed, but it's Monday. That's just how Mondays are. How are you, man?
Tired, man. Same thing. Pulling through for Monday, but we made it.
Dude, we're here. Every day is a battle, but I think the fact that we got through the day, we're here, 10:57 p.m. That shows, we fought and we're here.
That's right. So, what's on your mind? What's on your mind, Hector?
Dude,
what's on your mind?
I have too much on my mind. As you know, I'm a bit of a philosopher. I'm just always thinking crazy and weird thoughts, but something that has been on my mind, and let's just jump right into the juicy details.
Let's just go right into it.
So I forgot how I found out about this. But, there's just a bunch of weird clickbait out there on Facebook, and there's just a lot of fake articles. Thanks, Donald Trump, for telling us about fake news. I would not have learned about it if it wasn't for you. But I actually heard, are you familiar with the company Pornhub?
Man, old high school me, yeah, but yeah, I'm still familiar with it.
High school? Okay, well, so I actually read something it was on Facebook. It was like some article, but I just read the headline. Of course, that's what you do on Facebook. You read headlines and you share it without reading it. That's just what you do on Facebook. But a friend actually shared an article with me, so I was like, okay, well, I have to read this. But turns out, ladies and savages, that whether you're into this or not, I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but Pornhub recently made a video, and they called it the
what a shocker,
dirtiest video or something like that. Maybe I'll put it in the description after. I'm not going to link the video, but maybe I'll mention it in the description. But so they're actually working with a non-profit organization called Ocean Polymers, and this organization basically fights against all the ocean pollution and the beach pollution and basically the whole, just all that stuff and recyclables you see on the beach where they shouldn't be. So, what Pornhub is doing is they're working with this company and they made this video, and I read about it. I didn't watch it. So the way it sounds is it's just, this couple, doing their thing. They're doing their art on the beach, and your view is obstructed. You can't see what's going on. There's like bits of trash, and there's milk gallons, and there's just bottles and stuff, and you can't see what's going on. You can hear it. But there's actually people cleaning the beach, and as they're cleaning the beach, you can see more and more of what's going on. And the point of this is to bring awareness to just the state of the beaches and the state of our oceans and just all this stuff that we should be recycling properly and, disposing of our stuff properly. And what they're doing is for every view that this video gets, they will be sending a donation to this company, the nonprofit organization, Ocean Polymers. And I thought this was really interesting. What do you think, Al?
Nah, it's a curveball, man. Like, we just recently had one. It's interesting how a porn website is willing to donate and just partnering up with the Eco Rescue Association business, whatever. It sounds interesting how much they're going to donate. If they get at the same amount of views as they get for their other videos, I'm sure they're going to do well fine donating so much money for those programs to clean beaches. But it sounds interesting to me how maybe this is a good marketing plan here, even though they don't seem like they need anything. It seems like it's new surprise that the website and the company is bringing to, I don't know, bring more light and probably bring a little more positive energy to an already famous website.
Yeah, and it's just really interesting because this isn't the kind of company that you would think would be doing this. And I mean, it can't really, I don't know if it would be a PR move. I don't think it's just them trying to look good. I mean, as I said earlier, this isn't everybody's cup of tea. This is just something where I don't know. So I was reading some stats on it, and they said that on an average day, they get about 100 million visits each day on Pornhub. So if you really think about that and put that into perspective, if all those 100 million people, of course they're not are going to, but if they did watch this special video, just all that sort of attention that's being brought to this issue and those funds that are going to be going to this cause, I think that's pretty cool. And it's really different, but it's also, I think you and I talked about this a few days ago. You didn't know about it, but this isn't the first time Pornhub does something like this. A few years ago, they, in 2014, so they pledged to plant 1 tree in the United States for every 100 videos on some video that they had released that day. And this was like a campaign they did on Arbor Day. And what's funny is they called the campaign Give America Wood. I thought that was pretty interesting. I was thinking this is a company that I think so many people, for religious reasons or maybe ethical ones or whatever, I think so many people view this industry negatively. But they're doing good here, and they're helping our beaches and our oceans, and they're doing something. And the thing with the trees a few years ago. But then you think of people that actually should be doing stuff like this. Those politicians that should be making these big moves, and just other industries as well, and they're not doing that. I thought that was pretty interesting.
The one thing I want to add too is that I could see this obviously as a marketing tactic that. Just going back to the positive energy it brings to the business, it could also just attract more people to not just view their website, but also probably not everyone's cup of tea could see it twice and maybe think like, hey, it's not such a bad business or such a bad influence to people if it's at least doing some sort of work. And like you mentioned already, not all politicians are really helping out for this, yet such a random, you would say, business like this would help or get involved in such a big problem like this. Maybe just shows how much of a problem the ecosystem is.
That's great. I think someone's doing something. And in this article that I will be sharing in the description for sure, I'm not going to link the video. Sorry, guys. You guys can look that up yourselves. So there's a quote in here, and the people from Ocean Polymers, they said, the initiative and support from Pornhub is inspired and appreciated. While I'm sure for some it may not initially appear like the most obvious match for our project, we are thrilled that Pornhub has engaged with us and displayed a commitment to utilizing their voice and reach for positive action. And that's just basically what we're talking about. Like, this is an industry that has such a huge reach out there, and there are many people that do watch it. I think many people don't want to admit it, but
except in China.
I mean, come on.
Except in China.
This is what I will say. So we know we have a little bit of an established audience out there. I guarantee like 1 in 5, maybe 1 in 4. What do you think? 1 in 4 people?
Yeah, 1 in 4
might watch it of our listeners.
Yeah,
one of them might be watching it right now
while listening to us.
I don't judge. It's not what I do. But also, and they also specifically said in this article, and I mean, this makes a lot of sense. And they specifically hit that angle that we were talking about, that this isn't for everybody. Not a lot of people are going to want to do this, but there are people that might want to help. So they also say like, hey, you can go to our website and you can help in other ways. You can maybe give donations, or you can learn how to recycle better or to do other things better in your everyday life. So, you don't have to watch this video. I think this is just a way for them to do something and work with somebody, another industry, and just get that bigger reach. But, it's not for everybody. Like we were saying, there's other ways to help out. Throw your straws away if you're going to eat it or use a straw, you guys. Throw your damn trash away, actually. You know what? How old are you? Come on.
Mm-hmm. Did you actually catch their slogan?
Whose slogan?
Pornhub's video slogan.
I didn't.
It's right here. It actually says the dirty gets dirtier.
Yes. And it's pretty funny because, like, you know, I think this goes both ways. You know, this is something that a lot of people might see this industry as very dirty. And come on, the beaches, dirty as most of you guys listening to this. I'm not judging again. I like to think I have a sexy imagination and not a dirty mind. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. In general,
I don't think there's anyone that shouldn't be helping. I don't think. Okay, this is what I mean. If there's anyone out there that is upset by this news, like, hey, these people are actually helping. These people are making a difference. One thing I've been a little critical about, I don't know if I've talked to you about this, Al, but there are a lot of people, when some cause goes out, like on social media, on Twitter, whatever, you see all those things where it says, change your profile photo to this and show you support this. I mean,
kind of
that's cool. You're a part of something, but it's very passive. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry if you guys have done this. I mean, it's cool you're aware, but I think unless you do something, not necessarily directly, actively, if you don't do something actively, nothing's really getting done. But they have a reach, and there are people that watch this, and they know that. They get viewers, and for every viewer, they're giving a donation, and that's doing something. And to me, that's great. No matter what industry that is, if that was McDonald's or anything, I think that's a great thing.
Now that we're talking about dirty stuff, it reminds me of college.
This is getting steamy.
One of our viewers actually submitted a topic. We had several viewers submit topics, but we're gonna go one at a time at this time. And one of our most active followers actually asked for us to discuss is if college is for everyone. And I know we've been talking about this previously, but what are your general thoughts, Hector, on just college in general after, we just recently graduated?
First, let me just say something. I think this is on both our minds. I understand listeners, savages, based on our past episodes, if it sounds like we're against not going to college, we're not. I think everyone has a goal. Everyone has a path they want to go. Everyone wants a certain career. College was just a part of mine and Al's path. That was just part of our journey.
So we met.
So that's what we know. The college life, the living on campus, that's what we know. So of course it's easier for us to talk about. But based on, your question right now, just like I said, everyone has a different journey. Everyone has a different path. And at the end of the day, it really depends on what you want to do. There are some careers that don't require college. I know becoming a policeman, I don't think you need a bachelor's or a degree. I think it helps, but you don't need one. And I know there's a lot more jobs out there. For me, I want to be a professor. I need a degree. I can't just go around it and say, well, school sucks. I can't do that. I need the degree. I need to get myself through it. There is no other option for me. Unless, I decide to change what I want to do. But I think it really just depends on you. It changes from person to person.
I feel like college comes down to three different, how would you say it, topics or stuff you earn. Three different categories that you earn from college. I'll say one of them is for sure experience. It could just be from just professional experience to just interactions with daily people. Even though you probably can get that outside of school, are you forced to? At times, especially when people just like to be at home, Netflix and chill and work, and that's it. I feel like college makes you open up more than what you need, and I definitely experienced that. And my classmates throughout college. The other thing I will say is for sure your bachelor's degree or your master's, whichever one. It definitely gives you a boost nowadays that more and more people are having bachelor's and master's degrees. It's basically a requirement if you really want to at least have not a good start, but a solid start to your career and what you want to do. Because at the end of the day, you could have a ton of experience too, but if somebody has the same experience but a bachelor's degree, they're gonna beat you out still. No matter if it's from obviously Stanford and bigger school colleges will stand out, but even if it's from a smaller school, it'll show that you at least took your time to learn these things, or at least were approved by your teachers that you know this stuff. And then finally, I'll I also like to say it's just a fun experience that you could just have while just studying and what would you call it, trying to get your master's and bachelor's degree. At the end of the day, you end up making connections like me and Hector did right here. We wouldn't have met if we didn't go to the same college or went to college in general. We would have met such great people we already know to this day. And it just seems like it could just go a lot of different ways. And like Hector said, and I'm going to emphasize, it's not like we're going against it or any of that sort of stuff. We just typically are critical to what it comes down to probably after college. And then also situations could vary, you know, like Hector wants to be a teacher, he needs it. While in business, you might not need it as much. It could go both ways, but at the end of the day, I feel like those three things are big takeaways you get from college. And I wouldn't say nothing can replace it, but that's a really good bundle you get when you enter school, besides, you know, all the college loans. But yeah, I feel like college could definitely be something big, and at least I feel like a head start or like a starter pack for people to life in a way, because you get to interact with people. It gives you a ton of opportunities on how to make relationships, connections for during college or after college, and then it also gives you opportunities where you could develop your own social skills, your own business skills, your own people skills, EQ, which is really important nowadays. And then it could also help you with your work habits as well. It could make you either expose you and show you how much, to what point of a dedicated worker you are, maybe what you lack, or maybe what you have to work on. And then finally, it could just come down to you having an edge over somebody else when it comes to getting a job. So maybe at the end of the day, those three factors would be enough for somebody to be tempted to get into college. And if not, going outside of college is fine. It's at the end of the day, you choose what you want to do, but college is just an interesting part of your life, to say the least.
Yeah, and I think I understand why people might immediately turn against it or be sort of daunted by the idea of it, because it is really expensive, and something, you know, you do hear often, and it is true, like the prices of tuition has really risen exponentially, and then the like how much aid students get, that hasn't gone on as much. So when you get tuition going up so much and how much students are getting in assistance that isn't matching that, it's really tough. And there are people that they just can't make that sort of sacrifice. I think that is just really tough. I mean, you know, I'm really open about this, but you know, I'm in debt, but I have dreams I want to accomplish, and this is just part of it. And you know, I'm going to pay it back one day. That's not really that much. I mean, it is a concern. It is. I'm not saying I'm not worried about that, but it'll happen. I know I'm going to work. I know I'm going to work my ass off. I know I'm a hard worker, but I mean, it is understandable that people are going to go away from the idea of college. It just really isn't for everybody.
I feel like it's like I mentioned before, you're kind of forced into college at times, maybe because of parents or work reasons or simply just competition. But at the end, I feel like even though, you know, when they talk about, how would you say it, parents at times push you to do something rather than parents, or against parents, sorry, let's restart this. Parents who let their kids choose, and then there's parents in certain other situations where they force kids to do certain things at a young age, and at the end of the day, even though they're forced to and they maybe wouldn't have wanted to, it helps them learn something really important. And I could kind of understand that with college too, because like I said, competition kind of forces you to go to college. Work requirements forces you to go to college. And then just interacting with people is part of the package of going to college. Even though you may ignore it at times, you're going to get a decent amount of opportunities where you interact either with classmates while in class, or classmates outside of class, or during class. And those type of opportunities I feel are really important, especially when it comes to your happiness in general in life, because you interact with people daily. What if it comes down to relationships, friendships, connecting with people? All those things come in college, and then it also comes down to your career path and how to look better, professional. That comes back to your life, and then finally your opportunities in life. Maybe if you really show your worth or your value, it could really bring you great opportunities that could lead down to the passion that you like and work every day when where you get to work with what you like or get to enjoy your job, and thus going back to your happiness. So I feel like in general, even though college isn't a want for specific amount of students, I'm not sure, maybe it's split 50-50 or more than 50% don't like to go to college at times, or maybe the other way around too, but probably a lot of people want to go to college. It could be definitely a good package to learn for your future.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And one thing I will say, listeners, is if you're considering going to college, in a few years, ideally, I will be teaching college English. So if you just want to wait for me to become a professor, you want to be my student, you want me to be your professor, you want to take a ride in Professor Hector's classroom of experience and composition, you guys can, you're more than willing to wait for it. You're more than welcome to be in my class.
Don't forget to bring all these episodes back to Hector as a question.
That's what I'll do. I'm going to do a class where I introduce, at some point, podcasting, and I'm just going to share a podcast, but I'm not going to say it was me.
Bro, that brings more listeners.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to expose them to some sort of savagery.
Savagery 101.
Yeah, but no, again, I think college is very beneficial in various ways, and not just in educational or academic ways, is just more so in social aspects and other ways, and just meeting people and networking. But it really isn't for everybody. And I think one of the things, as you were saying, when we grow up, that's the one thing we hear every time. One day you're going to go to college. One day you can go to college. Mm-hmm. And I think we're instilled with this idea of college so much that it's over romanticized for us and not necessarily by us. And I remember specifically when I was an RA, because I mostly worked with, I was in a program where we worked with incoming college freshmen, and I like to open up with a little, my meetings were kind of like a TED Talk. That's how I got myself and them engaged in it. And the way I always opened up is I always said, hey everybody, you guys know how your whole life you guys were talked to about college, and you thought about college, and you probably studied your asses off for college. Well, now you're here. Looking back, the reason for doing that is just to make them realize, I did it. I'm here. That's cool. That's great. I'm proud of myself, pat on the back. But also, I think in retrospect, it's kind of scary when you're talked to about something this whole time and you're finally there. And I think there is a fear thing to it as well. I think college is something that people should be taught about, and they should be taught that it's not just an institution. It's not just for learning. There's much more than that. Yeah, that's really all I have to say on that.
And now that we're talking about college, what do you think after college? What do you think about all the stuff we have to go through, at least commitment-wise? Jobs, maybe relationships, family matters, homes. Damn, it's
funny you asked that
because
just for anybody actually, but I think at any point in our lives, we're always going through something, and we're always in some sort of a commitment, and we're always just going through big changes, and that's inevitable, whatever our age, or whether we went to college or not, or you're interested in literature or not, but it's something we all go through regardless. I don't know what your question was. I'm just talking. What was your question?
No, I just wanted to bring that up because I just had lunch, 10 p.m. But I was at the restaurant just waiting for my food, and just to give some context here, me and my friend were talking about having gone to Colombia, and then a guy just literally is stepping away from the restaurant, and he's like, "Hey, you guys have gone to Colombia, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah. And then we started a little chat. Well, then he left. And then the waiter just came up to us. She's like, did you know that guy? Or was he just a random dude who started chatting? We were like, oh, just a random dude and we just had a chat. She's like, okay. And I feel that gave her comfort to come talk to us, because after that, she was like, oh, started a little chat. And I don't know how we led to this, but then we started talking about how her friends had baby showers, and how we were talking about how they were so young and they were committing so quickly. And we ended up coming to a conclusion that, getting married or having kids before 25 or even up till 27 seems like it's a big commitment, and it kind of feels like college in a way of money, and also experience. But it just made me think, like, nowadays, at least from millennials' perspective, it seems like more and more people are deciding to commit really early in life. And I have a couple of friends who've actually done that already, and I have a couple of friends who already have kids, and some have gotten even married. It just came to me as a shocker, and at times when it comes to you not being involved in those things, makes you think like, maybe should you be married? Is it the right time? Or should you already have a kid? Should you be starting a family, should I say? It's just interesting how much it could go through people's mind, and I'm not specifically talking about myself, but just people in general. And I'm just interested on maybe how impactful do you think it could be for you, at least, Hector? Let's start off with that.
I think a big issue is just people feel like they're rushed. I think a big part of it too is people don't want to be alone. I'm talking in terms of the relationships and rushing that part, not about the other commitments. But I just know a lot of people, and I remember back in like middle school and high school when everyone had this idea like, oh, when I'm graduate college, before I'm 25, I'm going to be in this successful job and I'm going to get married and have kids before I'm 30. And I think people just have this idea in their heads. And, our previous generations, people were having kids a little earlier and getting married a little earlier. Mm-hmm. I think you and I have talked about this, about our parents. And it's just weird for me thinking the fact that my mom had me when she was like 20 years old. And I'm 25 right now. So I always think this, and I always like to think about, man, like if I had kids now, that I'm 5 years older than my mom was when she had me. So basically, like, my kid will be like 5 years older now. That's crazy. I cannot think of that. Life will be just completely different. But I think a lot of people were brought up with that, and that was a norm. So at times, a lot of people think like, oh, it has to be before I'm this age. I have to do this before I'm old. And I've noticed a lot of times too, people, maybe there is a loneliness aspect. They don't want to be alone. So they meet somebody. Hey, let's make this be serious. They don't allow it to become something. They make it something. That's just more so on the relationship part. But I just think commitments in anything really it's in your own time.
It's interesting, bro. It really is. It just, and I actually also had a discussion with a friend a couple of days ago. And we were talking about how some people, at least relationship-wise, they end up choosing the date from the get-go over getting to know them and then dating. They call it the friend zone. Like, oh, don't get in the friend zone or else you're fucked. But it seemed to me interesting because I've talked about this with multiple people, and at least from what I've received is that they feel strongly that if you want a relationship, not just a one-nighter, it seems like it's easier, and it goes along to what you're saying, that you should not rush things, but get to know that person and then see if it becomes something, and from there just take over. And if it's not for that person, not right now, then it's not right now. But at times you just gotta have patience. Maybe just what would you call it? Get yourself busy with something else, maybe some other career paths. But when it comes to relationships, it seems from what the responses I've gotten is that at times you just gotta take time, patience. Don't swipe on Tinder. Don't unless you want something in there, some good night. But just get to know people and build relationships rather than force relationships.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I do see just too many people just rushing. You see people that date maybe like a year tops and they're getting married. And, again, I'm not going to judge. It's in everybody's time. It's just for me, like, I'm just that person where, and I've learned this, like, in all my past and recent relationships, like, I really don't want to rush. Like, I really am still young. If I keep thinking like that, the idea of, oh, my mom was like this age, like, times are different, generations are different. I shouldn't be thinking like that. First of all, I'm a different person and it's a different time right now. But you and me have talked about a lot about how we have projects, and like we brought up right now, how I want to go back to grad school because I want to be a professor. Mm-hmm. There are other things I need to do, so I'm not in a point in my life right now where I don't have time to rush. I just don't. So, and I've been learning this recently too, like, like I said, in my recent relationships where I'm like, you know what, like, I don't need anything like that right now. I don't want to force anything. I don't want to look for anything. I want to find something, and I want something to just happen. Maybe that's just the romantic in me, but I mean, at the end of the day, we really can't judge. It's in everybody's time. Maybe some people really aren't rushing. Maybe for them, their relationship or whatever decision they're making, maybe it just progressed well enough for them, and maybe it was perfect enough for them. Maybe to us it's just faster. I don't think we can say much on that, but that's just my 2 cents right there.
I just find it interesting how we've gone from basically a high school topic to college, and now to after college topic throughout this whole conversation.
Yeah, now let's talk about senior homes. Where are you retiring?
Damn, actually, now that you asked that, where would you like to retire? I feel like I would like to retire with a happy family. Hopefully, my family's living near Europe, because I would like to retire in Barcelona, Spain. Seems like a really accepting place. There's a lot of different cultures and people from different countries living there. The living conditions in Europe is actually pretty good. You get government help. There's not much pollution going on. People are pretty chill with you in that specific city, at least from what I visited. And it just seems like a calm environment for a person to retire. What
I think I just don't want to end up anywhere near a beach that has to have Pornhub make a video on it because it's polluted. No, but you're not gonna like my answer. You might think it's a cop out, but honestly, I don't want to think that far right now. I don't even know what I'm gonna eat tomorrow for lunch. I just recently had some huge changes in my life.
Next episode.
I just hope that I'm happy. That's really all I can say, and I think that's all really anyone can say. Just that whoever we become and whoever we end up with and whatever we do, that we find happiness there. That's all I can hope for.
That's such a great way to end an episode. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are making a short episode this time due to needed subjects we needed to get our time on. We will be giving you guys shorter and quicker to the point episode.
Yeah, at the moment, life happens. Al and I are just, things are happening. We're good. We have projects and we have stuff we do need to do.
And plans.
But, we aren't going to leave you guys hanging. We are going to have some episodes. The next few might be a little shorter, but before you know it, we will be back to normal, and we have even bigger plans. Like, we have such huge plans, and me and Al keep talking about it like every day. We are hyped.
Oh, hell yeah, man. Well, this is just the beginning. Right now, we're just gonna get through all this, have these short, sweet episodes for everyone, and then we're just gonna come back even bigger.
And let me just link this to just a theme, and I think this is just a symbol of how life is. I think we're all going to have those ruts, and times might be a little slow, and we might be thinking, where is this going? But it's all a process. Sometimes suffering is a part of the process, but Al and I are optimistic about this and the changes that are happening, and so should all you guys, because things are looking up for us, and I'm sure they're looking up for you guys as well.
And with that being said, this has been Savages Unscripted. My name is Al.
And my name is Hector.
Everyone have a good night out there.
Ta-ta.